On to the Random Dancing podcast. Today's topic is activism in sports. So let's start with women's sports because that has been a big topic in today's society with Caitlin Clark and everything. So, how do you guys think Caitlin Clark has affected women's sports recently?
Mac, you want to go first or me?
You go first. I feel like you know a lot about women's basketball, knowing that your mom coaches.
Overall, I think she's had a huge impact on sports, especially women's sports as a whole. When Caitlin Clark got drafted, all of the season tickets, all of the tickets for the home games were sold out, which has never happened before, which made a huge impact and brings a lot of money into the WNBA. So I
Okay.
think it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I agree. Mikhail?
I feel like especially this year, I haven't heard much. I mean, I've like this is the year that I've first heard about the WNBA draft. Well, obviously I've known that's been a thing, but I haven't really known any names until this year. Like Caitlin Clark, not even just her, but like names like Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, Paige Beckers, even though she didn't get drafted yet. Like all those names are just bringing attention to the game. I think it would be beneficial for them in terms of like the WNBA as a whole league and like getting viewers and making more revenue.
Yes,
I don't
I
know. I think
agree,
it's a good
and
thing.
I also think that like all the commercials that Caitlin Clark's doing, you see her all over, and I think that's really
Yeah,
doing her part.
NIL
You
plays a
know,
huge deal.
she
Oh
could
yeah.
she could definitely have not taken the spotlight as it could have like scared her or whatever. But I think she's really stepped into that role and taken it responsibly, and she's definitely gained a lot of attention, which is good. Do you think we will ever see a sports match where it includes men and women? Even if it's just like for fun, not as competitive, but you think that's
I do
something we're
think
looking in that direction?
Yeah, same.
for
So
like one of my examples is something like an all-star game. Like you might see like NBA versus WNBA all-star game just for fun,
yeah,
obviously.
that'd be tough.
Yeah.
I mean, they
I,
already took the step with Sabrina and Curry doing a
Yeah.
3-point contest, so maybe more steps in the future.
yes, I agree.
So
All right, so let's go to more about activism in sports just as a whole. Do you think it should be allowed? Because a lot of people debate, these people are here, they're getting paid to play basketball, they're getting paid to play baseball, they're getting paid to play their sport. What do they have a say in, politics or these things that they're fighting for, with the kneeling during national anthems, all of these different things? Do you think that should be allowed or do you think they should just go out there and play their sport?
I believe that it should be allowed because they're just people like us, and they're just have higher up, so they have more voices. People will hear them, and like so say like somebody like living in like a low income area, like who want to speak on the same things, but no one's it's not getting out there. So it's better for people to talk about the things that are happening in the world rather than someone with a lower income, like not well known, talking about it and not getting any shine on it. So I think it has a huge impact on the world, and like players should really use their voices, whether they disagree or agree with what's going on in the world.
I feel like not even for like the impact part of it, but like they actually have the right to speak up, and just taking that away from them is just like, okay, what else am I not allowed to do?
Facts.
Both ways. So, I think like it's a good thing for especially younger children to get introduced to these topics, because a lot of younger boys especially are watching sports all the time. It's constant talk of their day, And so to be able to hear this stuff and all of that is important for them to get introduced to it. But I also see the negative sides where, you got guys like Kyrie Irving telling these young kids that the world is flat or whatever, and you got guys like LeBron James, where I think he's done a great job. He's a smart man, but he didn't even attend college. He didn't get an education, So it's scary because what if he wasn't as smart as he was, and all these little kids would be out there listening to him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So I definitely see both sides, but what's the biggest act of activism that you have ever seen? I'm gonna give you two different things. I want you to say in major league sports and also in person. Just sports that you've played with as a real time thing.
I feel like in major league sports, like when it's just like around COVID when in the Premier League when there's a no room for racism stand and everyone will take a knee before the game. I feel like that's one of the more like stronger things I've seen.
Hmm. Yeah. And then what
My
about?
example. Oh wait,
Go ahead. No, you go.
Mac or me? All right.
No.
So when same thing in COVID, when all the NBA players were in the bubble, they got to put a saying on their back, like say their names, like the names of people who got killed. So I felt like that was pretty powerful too, that the NBA allowed them to do that.
Yes, I like that too. And then I think the biggest thing for me is when individual athletes stick out just themselves. It's not planned by the organization. This also causes the most, like fuss it seems throughout the world,
Yeah,
but I think it's
controversy.
also it's also important because that's when it's stood out the most. And then any pieces of activism that you guys have ever experienced in real life playing your own sports?
I've never seen any.
Yeah, not in like high school or
High
college
school,
level,
yeah.
Yeah,
but
no, all right.
only in professionally.
Yeah. Okay, and so, how do you think activism in sports has helped the racial barrier? We've had a lot of different things, not necessarily recently, but we've had, the when the two guys won those Olympics, they stood up there on the podium with their fist up. Obviously Jackie Robinson went through hell to just go out there for African Americans to be out there and play because they weren't able to. But
Repeat the question.
so, how do you think that has helped? Do you think sports, specifically activism in sports, has helped the racial barrier
Oh,
more
yeah, yeah,
than
yeah.
most things?
Yeah, I think it's helped because like no one ever like I know Jackie Robinson fought for it, but like before that, like after that, like Colin Kaepernick when he took the knee for the first time, that got other people seeing that like he has a voice, so like they're able to do that too, and they're able to speak out on things too. And like even though that costed Colin Kaepernick's career, it proves that like it has made an impact because everybody's doing it. So I think it had a huge impact on what he did, and yeah, so
I feel like it kind of like starts a conversation throughout the whole sports world. Like if one person does it, you have everyone talking about it, and even like a movement, like everyone just follows after it. Everyone starts to do it. You even saw after
Yes.
Colin Kaepernick started, you saw like individual players just not standing with their team and just taking a knee.
yeah.
Yes. I agree. And so this next topic is also, I feel like, the least talked about topic that we're going to discuss, but it's definitely interesting: transgenderism in sports. So I know that this has been more popular on a lower level, such as high school and college, because that's where you see it often. And you got people complaining, you got some people saying there's nothing wrong with it. What are you guys' opinions on it? And have you ever experienced it in your playing days?
I've never experienced it in my playing days, but I do unfortunately think it's wrong because if you're born if you're born a biological man and you're competing against girls who are less like stronger, like slower, like it gives you such an advantage. Even if you're on medicine or pills to
Yeah.
transition, you're still gonna have that advantage over biological like females who are competing. So
Yeah, of
yeah, I think it's
course.
wrong.
Hmm.
I think like I know you guys don't follow like running world, but there's this transgender woman. Her name's Nikki Hiltz. Um, she's the fastest girl in the world in terms of distance wise.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just think it, along with what Cooper said, it kind of brings like an unfair advantage to everyone else in the field. Um,
Yes. Yes, I agree as
yeah,
well. I agree with both your points, and I think the way we can regulate it is give them their own section. I also don't think it's fair for, let's say, a transgender woman to have to compete with male if they don't feel like they're a male. But
yeah,
maybe give them their own section for transgender females all play against each other in the Olympics or whatnot. But
yeah.
it definitely gets difficult at the high school level because you're not going to find enough athletes to compete. So it's definitely a conversation to be had to figure out a solution because either way isn't really fair.
Sir.
Okay. That just about wraps up our activism podcast. Is there anything final add-ons you guys have or comments you wanted to make about anything we discussed today?
No.
I think that just about wraps it up.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another podcast. Appreciate it. Peace out.